Thank you for joining me today in this release for Martigrid Expert Advisor for our Patreons. Let's get right into this and explain what this new Expert Advisor for May 14th, 2025. We're releasing it today. It'll be available to all of our Patreon members for just $20 a month. That's it, right? So for $20 a month, you're going to have access not only to this Expert Advisor, but all the others that we have listed on our Patreon page. And you'll have access to a new Expert Advisor every single month, right? Whether that's a modification of an existing Expert Advisor or a brand new one like this one that has never been sold or offered to the public before, right? So let's get right into this and explain what Martigrid does. It's a very powerful Expert Advisor. It has a lot of incredible features in it that I've never ever released to the public before. But we're going to just stick to the ones that work, the ones that I've tested and back tested for multitudes of hours. Okay, let's just explain how this Expert Advisor works. It opens up a take profit of 100 pips. It opens up a stop loss of 300 pips. If it makes it to the 100 pip mark, it's going to open up another trade when the signal is right, which we'll explain in a couple minutes here. If it takes a loss of 300 pips, it's going to open up a grid recovery system that will recover the loss that we just had for 300 pips. And so it's based on the Martingale grid system. This is something I've never released before to the public, like I said before. And so what happens is when you reach the maximum lot size, which I'll show you in the settings here, as you can see here, we have a setting on here for the Martingale system. There's right here where we have max lot size is going to be 0.02. You actually could set that to 0.04 or 0.08, 0.16, depending upon how large of a balance you have to be able to recover like that. And we have the Martingale loss factor of basically 2.0, so it would double your lot size each time that it loses. Now, we're not going to get into that today because I've tested that already, but as you could see, if we were to change the stop loss to 100 and keep the take profit at 100, and every time you lose it would recover and recover and recover, that's Martingale. That was the whole concept of this expert. And when it reaches the maximum lot size, it kicks in a grid system. As you can see here, we have a grid system that starts at an initial lot of 0.02, a grid lot multiplier of 1.0, and then we have a grid max lot of 0.022. We're trying to reduce drawdown, so we have these settings set to be a lot safer to trade with than they get all aggressive. We've tried the aggressive way. It doesn't work really well. We have a grid distance set at 150 pips, right? And we have your grid take profit at 100 pips, which actually recovers the 300 pip loss. When we have a 300 pip loss, this 100 pip grid take profit does recovers quite well. So let's get right into this, the stochastic settings, right? It's going to be using a K&D period of 40. So we have to make sure, as you can see here, we have to make sure that we are above the 50 level with the K and D to open up a buy, and below the 50 level. As you could see here, it opened up a sell when it was below, and let me explain. It's going to get a little confusing when I show you the settings here. As you can see here, it's below the 50. This is the 50 here. So it was below the 50, both the K and D. It opened up a sell. It also had to have these three moving averages aligned, right? We have the 10, the 50, and the 100 moving average all in alignment, right? Going in the direction of a sell. And you also have to have two consecutive candles going in the reverse direction. I know this is really complex. So we have two bull candles going in the opposite direction to open up a sell. So it's kind of like a bit of a retracement before it opens, right? And as you can see here, we have those settings right here, the 40 K and D. We have slowing for stochastic at 5. Exponential is the stock method. And as you can see here, we're using use stochastic but reverse logic. As you can see, the normal logic would be buy below the 50 and sell above the 50, but we've reversed it with this setting here, reverse logic. So we reversed it, right? All of these things could be optimized. We have the consecutive bar in a row. So we have a 2, and we have reverse X bar too. So it reverses it. So it's going to open up in the opposite direction, right? So instead of when it has 2 bull candles, it opens up a sell, right? That's how it does. And so as you can see, here's the MA settings. We have MA 1, 2, and 3, 10, 50, and 100, simple moving average. Reverse 3MA is set to false, right? There's a ton of settings in here. You can experiment with these settings and literally create multiple strategies within this expert advisor. You can even turn off some of these settings and just use like a moving average, open and close, using martingale, using grids. You could turn off one, use another, minimize one, maximize another. There's a million different ways you can use this expert advisor. We even have multiple different ways that we can do hedging on this as well. I'm going to get into another video and explain this expert advisor on some of these other exciting settings, because there is a hedging system that is really powerful in this expert, where it will literally open up a trade in each direction, and it will continue to open up consecutive lots and increase those lots on each side of the hedge until it closes in profit. It's really fantastic for like news releases, for really heavy market conditions where the market moves really quick. You can use that strategy. It doesn't work really well long term, because the market has a tendency to go into a ranging motion and throws the drawdown in the really heavy during certain times of the year. And so it doesn't always work perfectly for a long range test. That's why I didn't set that up here. But this is sort of experimental here, and we will get into this and we'll explain it with our Patreons in the future. But that's in here. This is a bag of tricks, this expert, right? So let's continue to watch this trade here. As you can see here, it's got the 100 pip. It's getting ready to potentially lose, and then it did. It just lost. So now we're going to wait for the signal, and once that signal is correct, and it is, it's actually opening up a buy trade when it was above the 50, the 40 at K&D stochastic, and it has 2 bear candles in a row to open up a buy with the 10, 50, 100 moving average in the direction of a buy, right? And now let's see how it recovers, right? So as you can see here, we took this loss here. You see this loss right here? So we're going to go ahead and recover this entire loss and then some with the grid recovery. Let's take a look. Once it hits that green line up there, that is the take profit for the grid system. So you get a visual of the take profit when the grid recovery starts to open. Now, as you can see here, it did close in profit again here. So we had 2 grids open and the green line moved down, and then it actually did open and recover, as you could see here, and with a little bit more than the initial profit was before, right? So if you just keep that running, it will continue. And as we could see here, this was the results for 7 years. January 2018 to February 2025, we made $4,166 in 7 years, $595 a year. That's 60% per year on a $1,000 start balance. Obviously, if you had a $10,000 start balance, you'd increase those lots by 10 times. And then you would be getting, instead of $595 a year, you get $5,950 a year. If there was a $100,000 account, that becomes a lot more. It comes out to $59,500 a year. So a $100,000 account, $59,500 a year. But as if you've been following me for any length of time in our previous videos, you'll see that I'm not going to use all these symbols, even though we have all these symbols with a drawdown of 23% or less. I'm not going to trade with all of them. I'm only going to pick a handful up here, maybe 2 or 3 of them that ran from about 4% to about 11 or 12% max drawdown. So that way, when we diversify this expert with all of our other experts that we're running on a couple of our accounts, we're not going to put ourselves in danger necessarily, right? So we don't want one system to be used all the time and put all our eggs in one basket, because we have multiple systems trading multiple symbols, multiple systems, multiple symbols, and using the safest, lowest drawdowns on each system. And that's what we're going to recommend. Even though, as you can see, the potential just on one expert advisor, just one, is about 60% per year, just on one. That was our goal. That was the goal to look for, is at least if I can get something to work on multiple symbols for 50% a year, it qualifies. Some of them are about 20% a year, which is fine too, because we're mixing them in with others, and we'd rather stay on the safe side. And if we only make 5-10% a year on some experts, and we make 20% on another expert, that's fine, because in the end we want to make 50 to 100 or even more per year, and it looks like we're going to make more than 100% this year. Hope this video helps everyone. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to us, and join our Patreon. Go to patreon.com and simply just search for Forex Trading MQL, all one word, Forex Trading MQL. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.